I've been watching a lot of anime and stuff in my spare time. A few of these are probably going to be videos when I eventually catch up or finish them, but the main one I was hesitant on watching was actually Gundam Build Fighters, because I didn't think it was something for me. But then I watched it, and damn was it good. As many of you know, I've only watched things from the Universal Century and a bit of G Gundam, but honestly, it's thanks to watching those first that I actually enjoyed this series a lot more than I would have without watching all of these series beforehand. It's obviously not as deep as many other Gundam shows and films I've seen over the years, but there's honestly things that a lot of fans can enjoy about Build Fighters, especially if you're a hardcore fan of the series, or even someone who is new to the franchise as a whole, like the really cool mech designs, the really incredible animation, the mom, lessons about how to build Gunpla, the mom. Pretty much anyone can get behind these things. A bit of a backstory for a bit of context. My brother is the one who got me to start Gundam, and the show that he started the franchise with was Gundam Build Fighters, and even he enjoyed it. And for fun, I asked him what he liked about the series despite him not being a fan of the franchise beforehand. He said, "As someone who had no idea what Gundam was before watching, I like the action, animation, and the really cool mecha designs. It also presented the idea of Gunpla to me, something that I love to this day, and it's a really fun hobby." Also, a small disclaimer, my brother brought up an idea of making a Gundam Build Fighters video once I actually started watching it, so he's probably watching this right now. I made the video, so where's my $20? Jokes aside, I didn't know what to expect of this series. I thought it'd be mindless action that focuses on cool Gundam fights over a compelling story. Something that I loved about Gundam was how it used the mecha as a means to tell a compelling story. Not as something that was meant to make me want more action for the sake of action. I always liked the characters of Gundam and the ideas it presented to me, if that makes any sense. You can deny it all you want though, this franchise's purpose now is to sell toys. That's what the series was meant to do, but there's still a lot of care and love put into this series. I can 100% tell that. And this series isn't just mindless action. Even though it's a show made for kids, there's things other fans can enjoy as well. There's honestly way too many references to other shows, like, I lost track of how many references there are. That's how crazy it is. And not just from the Universal Century. Any Gundam fan from that time would have a blast with this series because there's something that each type of fan can enjoy and love. I can imagine a scenario where sometime in Japan where the series aired, a kid's probably eating breakfast while watching the show, and this scene plays while his dad walks by and glances at the TV. I think it's stuff like that that this series is meant for. It's like this huge celebration of the franchise itself. There's so many homages to the original series that I just love. To characters based from old characters like Ramba Ral, which is probably my favorite character in the franchise, as well as many cameos from Char and Amuro. And I haven't even begun to talk about the mechs. The whole premise of this series is that the main character lives in this world, kinda like ours, but there's this tournament style game called Gunpla Battles, and it's got people from all over the world competing to be the best Gunpla fighter. It's not like your average video game where you can just mold into your chair and click shit. In Gunpla Battle, there's so much stuff you have to do in order to be called a Gunpla fighter. First off, you have to build your own Gunpla. And that's honestly what made this such an interesting aspect of this series. There's points in the series where the main characters build Gunpla out of curiosity to see how it's done. There's a special feel to their Gunpla, whether it's a sort of dopamine rush where they perfectly assemble a new Gunpla, or adding custom parts to their own previous Gunpla. I really like that sort of aspect because it allows the characters to really show a love for their Gunpla, but there's also like many people, like some of the antagonists just have their own Gunpla built for them, which does take away from the special part about it. And by the end of the series, they can even realize that there's something special about Gunpla and making your own Gunpla. You can learn to take care of it, make modifications, basically just treating it like your car or something, I don't know. And moving on to the action, holy shit. This is probably the best mecha animation from this time period. I know Gundam Unicorn has insane animation, but the production schedules and production differences are like night and day. It's crazy how good the quality of the animation is, especially when talking about the mecha animation. I mean, doing action animation seems tough enough, but mecha animation is like a whole different challenge. And from what many say, it's a lot harder to do these days, which is why many believe that Gundam will eventually transition to 3D in the newest shows. But thank God G-Witch proved that wrong for me. Shit looks insane so far. There's so much talent from this series that I have to mention because I'm a goddamn nerd. Masami Obari, one of the most incredible mecha animators of all time, Ken Otsuka, Yoshikazu Tomita, Sejun Kim, and so much talent from the animation industry all just absolutely kill it in this series, delivering some of the most top-notch animation that's just a marvel to look at. Now let's talk about the story and what it tries to do. Obviously this is way different from other Gundam series I've talked about, and even those old series back in the day were presented to kids. And it's a lot more obvious that this series was made for kids. The series has two main characters, Say and Reggie. One from Earth and one from colonies. Yeah, they exist in this universe. And throughout the series, these two participate in Gunpla battle tournaments. And there's a lot of development for them as well as many other characters that either fight them or are friends with them. Within the shonen demographic, there's many themes and ideas presented, but most well-known shonen anime and manga have their main characters learn from their mistakes or events that they go through as they mature throughout their series. And this series is one of them. Sei and Reiji aren't as good working together as they normally should, as they sometimes don't see eye to eye. Like how one values Gunpla a lot more than someone normally should, and the other just wants to fight for the sake of fighting to his heart's content, without facing the consequences of his actions. And as they go through many different battles, wins or losses, they learn from their mistakes, and use their knowledge and past experiences to overcome difficult odds, and to surpass their limits time and time again. It's not really something an adult could possibly enjoy as much as a kid, but like I said, there's so much stuff anybody can enjoy. There's something in the series that I didn't like as much people would probably be okay with, which is the character writing. Some of it's meh, but it's not as nuanced as you'd think. It's a kid's show, it's not anything that deep, so it's not that big of a problem, but I never really thought I'd enjoy it as much as I did. I'm actually really glad I didn't give that much spoilers, so if you want to watch this series, please check it out, it's really good. If you want to see some of the best mecha animation in the past few years, or some references to your favorite Gundam shows, there's so much stuff that anyone can get behind. I also asked you guys what you guys thought about the Gundam Build series, like the whole series as a whole, which has a lot more shows, which kind of started with this one. There's also Gundam Build Fighters Try, there's Build Divers Re-Rise. I haven't watched all of those. I heard for the most part it's okay until some of the later series, so let me know if you guys want me to talk more about these shows. I'm always open to trying out new things, especially if it's Gundam. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one.